channel and into my new space, my new bedroom. I've been back in South Australia for a few weeks now, and over the time that I was gone, my family moved into a new place. So I arrived back home with all of my stuff in boxes that I packed away before I left, knowing that we were going to do this move, and had spent the first few nights in a totally empty room, which I have definitely taken up as a blank canvas opportunity, and since then have filled it up a little bit more with furniture and plants that I feel like complement what I want my space to look like and how I want my space to feel. The kind of vibe I was envisioning for my space was more open and earthy and just really calm and relaxing and a nice place to come back into. I'm really grateful for the size of this bedroom and how much floor space I've been able to have, which I've definitely been utilizing, and know that I'm personally someone who loves to kind of like lay on the floor if I'm working or reading or anything like this. It's also been incredible having enough room to kind of stretch out and take up space, especially after spending so much time in hostels and just cramped accommodation. I feel like I've almost regained a sense of privacy and peace, and while the space isn't, I guess, like 100% what I want it to be, for just under a month in, I think I've done pretty well, and I can attribute a lot of that to the couple plants and the bit of greenery that exists in this space so far. The intention that I've been putting into my room almost feels like an extension of this newfound desire that's been coming up within myself to start to set roots a little bit more, which honestly is a somewhat new feeling for me. I didn't actually picture myself wanting to live back in my hometown after I returned, and always thought I'd head straight back up to Queensland, which is where I was studying beforehand. But like I mentioned in my previous video where I talked about some of my travel learnings, I've come home with just a new perspective being back in the state I grew up in, and at this point in time I'm really enjoying it and it feels like where I want to be. It's been really interesting to observe and start to fall back into some of the familiarity that comes with being home. Also the sense of newness that has come along with being in a new space again and having a different perspective than I did when I left. And new hair as well, which I impulsively decided to cut myself. I have felt a little up and down these past few weeks, but I think that is so natural considering the drastic and very quick adjustment from one lifestyle to another, and having the constant daily stimulation of travel and seeing new places versus returning back to the same space over and over day after day, and obviously returning back to work and back to reality and back to the more routinely aspects of life that are important and that you can't really avoid. So as well as beginning to settle in physically into this new space and back into the environment of my hometown, I'm also settling in emotionally and energetically and just in the general sense of what I envision my lifestyle to look like going forward. I still have a few months until I have to think about going back to uni again, so a lot of my daily habits have been revolving around my work, which has been really nice to welcome back into my routine, as well as some of the other daily habits I'm continuing or bringing back in around my work life. Work, and I promised myself and also my co-worker that I was going to go for a run this evening. I actually really enjoy running, but every time I enter like a running era, I end up going too hard too fast and end up getting shin splints. So my running habits have been very on and off for years. I checked back on my Strava and I haven't been on a proper run since last year, and on any run at all since like March, so that is 6 whole months, which is kind of crazy, and it feels like such a really silly reason for putting it off. But my running shoes are very worn down, the bottom is shredded. They were like this before I went to Europe, but because I was trying to save money, I wasn't buying myself new shoes, and basically in my mind, if I'm wearing unsupportive shoes while running, that is going to equate to shin splints, which I know isn't necessarily true, and if I kind of eased into the running, I'd be fine, but it definitely has been like a deterrent from getting back into running, which I know doesn't really make sense, but shin splints are just so hard for me to get rid of once they kind of come on again. So now that I've had a few weeks back at work, had a few paychecks, and to take away this barrier, I've bought myself some new sneakers. They're super comfortable, they feel super supportive, and I literally have no excuses not to go. So I guess here's to eliminating all these subconscious barriers as to why I can't go back into running. This is the running fit with the fresh kicks. Definitely looking like a little boy with my my True Grip finisher shirt from the 10k that I ran in the mud. It's really dark and a little bit rainy outside, but the spring weather's finally setting in, so it's actually quite warm, so I can wear a t-shirt and shorts and I'm gonna be fine. Let's do this.